From the sidelines to the state title, he's the heart of the Bulldogs, the mind behind the game plan, and the face of Kearney football, Coach Logan Minnick. And now, get ready for insight, highlights, and a look at what's ahead for your Kearney Bulldogs from the Bulldog Radio Network team. It's your all-access pass to Bulldog football. This is the Coach Minnick Show.
All right, welcome to the Coach Minnick Show, where your Kearney Bulldogs are 3-0 and still ranked number one, unanimously, I might add, in Class 4 Missouri. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with producer-engineer Brian Watts, and to my left, Kelly Gentry, the second hardest man in the hardest working man.
Yeah,
yes,
be careful with
in
that.
Kearney. Yes. I'll let that alone. But here's a guy right here next to me, Coach Logan Minnick. We actually named this show after him, and we just couldn't think of anything else to call it. And I got to tell you, Coach, you and I spoke after the game, and we heard it across a couple of our post-game interviews that while you beat your rival opponent by 20 points, made probably a handful of what we would consider to be plays of the game. And yet, both you and I know Aiden Ariano had indicated that this was perhaps not your best performance.
For sure. Definitely, in the uncharacteristic penalties we had, we turned the football over. Those are things that we've come to, those are major no-nos for us in our program. We don't get penalized, we're disciplined, and we take care of the football. So when you do those things, at the end of the night, you don't feel like you played as well. Now, part of that, too, is you give Smithville some credit on that. They're a pretty dang good football team. Yeah. So your game plan's not going to go as well as what you would like to execute it, because those guys are well coached and they're a good football team, too. But I love that mentality out of our kids if they're not satisfied with how we played. We won. It's a huge game, huge rivalry game. Proud of their effort, proud of the win, but our kids are, they're hungry to compete at a higher level than what we did. And again, that's no shade or anything at Smithville when we say that. They're a dang good team, and we didn't play as well because of those guys.
So true, and you mentioned the penalties, and we were talking before we went on the air here that Jim, Kelly, and I, during the game call, noticed that there were some, and we're not here to bag on the officials. We will readily admit that, yes, that's hard work, and they do it for not much pay, if any. But in any case, we didn't see some penalty flags that were penalties, and there may have been, a flag that we didn't see because it fell in a certain place, as you had mentioned. But there weren't hand signals for touchdowns at times. Yes, we complained about it on the air, but I think we need to settle all of this. If we would, let's settle this in the court of minutes.
Order in the court.
Well, that was anticlimactic, but funny.
What are you talking about?
Well, I didn't hear all of the intro, but it's funny. That's all right. All right, there it is. That's what. All right, Coach. Let's get this out of the way before. Let's not hurt anybody's feelings here. But what the heck was going on down there?
It was. I'd say it's safe to say those guys had a little bit of an off night, and I think, and both sides. It wasn't, after the game, that was the first thing Coach Spear and I talked about. I was like, man, that crew had a rough night, and that happens sometimes, as you said. Those guys make nothing, and we have an official shortage, and they're only getting older and older. And no offense to our white hat that night, but he's in his late 70s. So
Easy.
Yeah.
I didn't say early 90s, Mike. But again, those guys, they do their best. They're not intentionally doing things, but that wasn't their cleanest night for sure. And, there was a couple things in there. I had to swallow my pride a little bit. I was wrong on the ham package there. I had a touchdown called back because I didn't do my job right within the rules. And that, for me, hurts bad because I know the rules so well, and that's something I take a lot of pride in. But when on the ham touchdown that got called back, we only had 4 lineman numbers on the field when we subbed out, and that was just on me. We had Isaac Beaver comes in on that package, and last year he played as one of the running backs. This year he's on the line. So when we were subbing him out, it never even crossed my mind that we were taking a lineman number off and not putting 50 through 79 back onto the field. So
because he wears 2.
Yeah, he wears
uniform.
2.
Okay.
And that's, I'm sure you guys saw immediately after that, we threw him in. We have our dead man bag that we always have a lineman number and a skill number in case we get one torn, or we just always have extra equipment in there. And I said, Coach Swall, do we have a lineman number? He's like, oh, yeah, he ain't going to like it, though. So Isaac had to play the rest of the game in 64, and he was not happy about it. But played well regardless of what jersey number he's wearing. But, yeah, so that one, because I had no idea. I was like, we didn't hold anybody. Why is he throwing the flag? And then he came over there, and I was like, man, that's 100% on me in a huge game. So I've been kicking myself still over that one. But, yeah, some of the other ones, there were some questionable calls on whether we caught a ball or whether they were in bounds. And as you guys said, at times they would call things and no signals whatsoever. And it was just those guys had an off night, and, that happens sometimes. But we've had worse. I can tell you that, too. So it's just one of those things. And I don't think, as bad as it was at times, I don't think it affected the game either way, because it was consistently, both sides had some calls that went against them, and both sides had some calls that went for them.
Coach, my question on that is, that was a huge game, 1 versus 3 in the state. It was featured by a lot of Kansas City metro media, not just us. Is there do they take that into consideration in terms of assigning officials for games, like if it's going to be a really important game that may determine conference or district, those types of things?
Yes and no. I mean, definitely when you get to like district games, they're going to put the higher rated guys in the bigger games when it comes to that kind of stuff. But for the most part, they usually, to start the year, we give a list of, as coaches, we give a list of crews we recommend, crews we absolutely don't want, or a crew that, we don't have, we've never had this crew, we'll give them a shot, or whatever. But then it doesn't always work that way because of how short we are on officials. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you'll even get a crew that you put on your sheet absolutely do not want, and then you walk out there in the field, you're like, oh boy, like one of those kind of things. But no, I think they do a really good job of spreading those guys out, and they try to not give you the same crew twice in the same year. So they really try to do a good job of spreading out the good officials all over the city.
Okay.
After the game, I had the opportunity I met Carter Temple's folks and his family, and I had a chance to visit with them. And you want to know why good kids are good kids? Because they have good parents. And so shout out to them, and great that I was able to get to know them a little bit better. And I say that because I feel like I am the president of the Carter Temple fan club this year. And the thing is, I have to talk about him. He was 19 rushes for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. On passing, he had 9 of 14 for 111 yards. I mean, and I in this weekly story, I referred to him as a touchdown machine. Now, I didn't do it by himself, but good heavens, every week this guy just keeps lighting up the scoreboard, and it's hard not to talk about him.
Yeah, he's playing at a really high level right now, and that's something we talked about, on our first show of you guys are going to see night and day better Carter Temple, which was pretty crazy because he was dang good as a sophomore. But it looks like one of those things as a coach, the game has slowed down for him a little bit, like especially in the pass game. He's been night and day better throwing the football or making really good decisions with the football when it's not there. He's carrying it more than what we would like him to this early in the year, but at the same time, in big games, you're going to get the ball to your big players. He's done a good job of that, and we've had a really good balance between our backfield and who's catching passes, and so we're really balanced offensively right now, and he's doing a great job being the point guard of that offensive. When we throw a quick game, he's getting it. When it's to the backs, he's getting it. He's done it. Really good job running option. We've ran more option this year than what we have in the past. He's doing a great job reading it and taking care of the football. He's playing at a really high level right now, and that's why the points have been coming.
One thing along those lines too, a lot of those rushes, it looks like to us that those aren't necessarily called running plays for Carter. He drops back, doesn't see open receivers, tucks it and runs, and picks up big chunks of yard on some of those plays.
Yeah, he can run, and that's what's fun, and he's hard to tackle too. So if when he's scrambling around, if you just get an arm on him, he's going to run through arm tackles. He's big, he's strong, and that's what we're talking about with him making good decisions. At times, when we'll be calling our deep post or something, and if it's double covered or he doesn't like it, he's immediately looking for the run lanes to go. It's not, you always hear about quarterbacks with happy feet and all that. It's not that at all. He's just, okay. And maybe as a sophomore, he would have just dropped back and threw that thing as far as he could and hoped, and then we have some turnovers at times. And now this year, he's determined not to turn the football over. He's doing a great job picking and choosing when to take shots and when not to, and then at the same time, understanding we just need to move the sticks. We need to move the sticks. Unbelievably proud of our offense, the way we closed that game out. Told the guys on the headset there's 9 minutes and 30-some seconds. We get the ball there in the fourth. I said, we're going to score or we're taking every second off this clock. And I said, we're going to do both. That was what I said on the headset. And then, we scored a touchdown with 40 seconds to go. 18-play, 9-minute drive to put somebody away. So that's weight room right there. We didn't put the ball in the air. Here it comes. We're going to run it at you. We're going to get four. We're going to get four, and we're going to take it all the way down the field.
You look at a team like Smithville, and you recognize that they do have a ton of athletes across the board, and we witnessed a great job by their quarterback, and of course that Quentin Morris, right? And and then of course number 22 Lincoln Roski, who both did a terrific job that night, and I think when you've got threats like guys like that, it puts a lot of pressure on your defense at every level, from the defensive line clear through to the secondary. But one of the guys, and Brian, I think I'd like to bring this up if we go ahead, the Conrad's player of the game was Aiden Ariano, and that's a guy right there who I think just did a terrific job of taking that into account, knowing what he had in front of him. And I just, hats off to the defense. I don't have your stats this week, but we're going to fix that next week. Nonetheless, he had 14 tackles.
Yep.
And that much we know. And again, doesn't do it by himself, but he's in a position, Coach, where, from what we heard from him on Friday night, that he can not really freelance necessarily, but he can go where the ball is, and he loves the position.
Yeah, he's playing, what Theo played the last 3 years for us, and we've built the defense to funnel everything back to Aiden, and we're really good on the defensive line, so he doesn't get blocked a lot at the same time, because the D-line is causing havoc up front, so it allows Aiden to run, which for us is very good, because he's a phenomenal tackler in space. He can run. He's a track kid. So he's got elite speed at the linebacker position, and we're doing a great job. The Tucking twins are doing a phenomenal job of leveraging the football and forcing everything back to that D-line and in there to Aiden. So he gets the benefit of making a lot of tackles and getting a pub, but it's because the defense is playing unselfish and forcing the ball back to our unblocked defender. So he's doing a really good job there, and overall the defense is doing a good job of funneling the football to him.
Coach, what was it that you said between the three linebackers their 40 times are? Because you said it's one of the fastest linebacking groups.
They're all 4.6 or better, all three of them,
Wow.
which in high school is elite linebacker speed.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, because we call the Tucking twins names a ton too on
Yes.
tackles, like all three of those guys, but they're covering sideline to sideline for sure.
I referred to, we have a group chat, text chat among the broadcasters, and I referred to Aiden as Theo 2.0, and I'm not taking anything away from you, Aiden, but I'm just saying you have appear to be filling some pretty big shoes from what we saw last year, and a terrific job. And you just love seeing him play. We had an interview with him. We'll come back to that later, maybe the second segment of the show. But
absolutely, it's fun to watch, and you can tell he loves ball, right? Like all these guys we talk to, you can tell they love it. Coach, one thing I did want to go back to, I don't want to lose it, was you talking about that long drive at the end of the game. Mike was getting so excited watching Emmons come in there behind that offensive line. Everybody in the stadium was pretty certain we were going to be running the ball,
Right.
But you were the offensive line taking care of business. Corbin was running so hard. Talk to us a little bit about the play of your offensive line and the running game when everybody in the stadium knows we're probably going to be running the ball, right?
Yeah, that's something we take pride in. And I told them, when we huddle up after the kickoff return before we even go out there, it's like, boys, this is it. We're this. We always talk about, we used finish as our motto the year we won state, and that's kind of an overall program motto we've kept around because we've liked it so much. It says it on the back of every single kid's practice jersey at practice. So that's our mentality. It's, boys, right here, it's time to finish the game. It's the fourth quarter. It's time to wear people out. It's why we lift all the weights. It's why we do all the running. It's for moments like this. It's time to put a team away. So proud of it. And yes, you guys, Corbin had a run on that drive where I bet he broke 6 tackles and was still going. Like he ran like a man possessed there and angry, runs angry.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of tough yardage, and that's what we're talking about with our toughness mentality. And, he just wasn't going to be denied. He was going to move the sticks. He was going to get the first down. He's going to put that game away. And whether we blocked a soul or whether we blocked everybody, he was going to run through people on that play. And also on that play, him, Dryden, and Matt Lindsay, all three are doing a really good job blocking as well. And that's something that doesn't get noticed as much. But those 2 backs and those 3 backs, they all block their tails off for each other, and it's awesome to see because they obviously all 3 of them would want the ball every down, but it just doesn't work that way, and they're unselfish with it.
You mentioned Lindsay, and he has what I would call eye-popping plays on a regular basis. When we see him in the game, it's not that we always notice him when he comes off the field, but all of a sudden he's got the ball in his hands and he's making something happen, and he's a new guy this year.
Yeah, we've been giving him a bunch of crap about getting tackled by the kicker. He dang near ran a kickoff back, and we said, never again do you get tackled by the kicker. So we've been giving him some flack on that, but at the same time, our kicker last year was Jacob Dillon. He made a lot of tackles.
Right.
But we've been giving him that, and then he threw the big option pass.
We couldn't figure out who that was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys had Dryden and Corbin credit, and it was neither one of them. But, yeah, huge play there. That's a play we got him on 2 years ago. Just ran the other way. Cohen threw it 2 years ago. And that's just a product of them. They're so aggressive to the run, which they're well coached, and their DBs will come up and tackle. And that was just a play we thought we could take advantage of their aggressive-ness there. Matthew played some quarterback in his past, so he can throw the ball. So we had that set up. We've had it. We've been running it for a few weeks now, so we knew we had it, and it's just one of those feelings because when you're called as head coach, all the guys on the head are like, oh. So, all right, boys, here it goes. We're fine. I told them all week it was going to be a touchdown for somebody, either us or them. I don't know which one. But this play is going for a touchdown, and then Sam gets caught on the dang half-inch line, which actually helped us because then we ate another 40 seconds off the clock right there before half. So, but either way, yeah. So Lindsay is getting more and more reps, as you guys have seen, and making more and more plays, and he's got that. He's the fastest kid on our team, so he's got elite speed that we're continuing to find ways to get him the football.
That's saying something, by the way.
That is.
If he's the fastest guy among fast guys, that's doing something. All right, you are watching or listening to the Coach Minnick Show, and we're going to be right back. Stay with us through these commercials.
Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. were shut down for hours tonight. It comes after American Airlines says a plane blew out several tires after landing.
Flight 1551 blew one of its tires during takeoff.
4 tires blew out.
A disabled aircraft on the runway can easily shift from a simple inconvenience to an airport operations nightmare. The unfortunate outcome can often lead to a complete airport closure and, in some cases, significant airport financial losses. The solution is easy. Planesgate. Planescape was designed as a simple, innovative method of removing disabled aircraft from your runway, quickly, safely, and efficiently. Planescape is manufactured for both civilian and military aircraft. The sturdy design makes quick work of moving everything from corporate jets, turboprops, large, medium, and small piston twins, and almost every single-engine aircraft, including tailwheel and warbirds. Planescape is extremely versatile and easy to use on multiple airport surfaces. Planescape traverses large runway cracks, sand, dirt, and gravel with ease. Potholes, ice, snow, and grass are no challenge to Planescape's mobility. And best of all, in most cases, you can clear a runway in less than 15 minutes with Planescape. Now that's a game changer that'll keep your runway open. Discover more about keeping your airport operations running smoothly. Visit Planescape.com and keep that runway open.
The air you breathe inside your home plays a critical role in your overall health and wellness. Harmful contaminants like asbestos, lead, and mold are hidden hazards that can be lurking in your home or office. Since 2013, the indoor air quality experts at EcoSafe Environmental Services have been detecting and eliminating harmful contaminants, improving indoor air quality, and creating safe, healthy living spaces. You can learn more at 816-598-4111 or at ecosafekc.com. You deserve a healthy home. Stay safe with EcoSafe.
Dings, dents, or a pull-on fender bender. When life happens to your car, you can trust the team that's been fixing it right for over 40 years. At CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, expert collision repair, precision paint matching, and detailing come standard with customer care that goes the extra mile. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 816-628-5621, or you can stop in for a repair estimate at 104 West Main Street in Kearney. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, where your car gets the care it deserves.
Kelly Gentry here at Kearney High School. Your Kearney Bulldogs defeat the Smithville Warriors 34-14, and we're joined by junior wide receiver Sam Way. And Sam, the first thing I wanted to ask you about, a big rivalry game tonight, number 1 in the state versus number 3 in the state. Talk to us a little bit. A lot of media coverage here tonight. It was the Metro game of the week. Were you guys aware of that? And tell us what it was like to be here under the lights tonight.
Yeah, we knew what it was going to be like coming in here. Our rival. It's going to be loud, a lot of people. We just know we got to play hard, play harder than them, and just show up and beat them.
Well, one of the things that Coach talks about a lot is that we need our wide receivers to do a really good job of blocking. You're a big guy. You're doing a heck of a job out there. Talk to us a little bit about the pride that you guys take as the wide receiver unit blocking for this running game.
Yeah, especially this year, our receivers have stepped up to blocking, and one of their corners, number 11, he was also their quarterback. So every time we got the chance, we'd beat up on him, run him off, get him tired, just so he can't play as well on the offense.
Well, and Sam, we've seen you make some acrobatic catches. You made one against Fort Osage, just a tremendous catch. But we got so excited in the booth tonight, you literally tracked a guy down. Looked like DJ Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. Talk to us a little bit about that play. And I know you're a track guy, so talk a little bit about how track prepares you for the football field as well. But first, start with that play.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good play. That was a good chase down. Yeah, I love track. It's probably my favorite sport. I'm just always been fast, just chasing them down.
Well, it really was a hustle play more than anything. And it just looked like you weren't going to give up and some determination. Did you think you could chase him down?
Yeah, I knew I was going to get him.
Well, super job. Kelly Gentry here with Sam Way from Kearney High School. Kearney wins big 34-14 over their rival Smithville Warriors.
Sam Way, what a humble guy, but when you're fast, you're fast. And when you know you're going to catch the guy, you know you're going to catch the guy. I mean, he came out of nowhere, Coach, and my goodness, he had, we'll show the play of the game in a bit, but he had a great angle on the runner, Roski, and we know how fast Roski is. And we didn't know that he had such a great angle because he just closed so quickly, Sam did. And my goodness, that was an incredible play. And I think, again, another eye-popping play by a Kearney Bulldog.
And it saved a touchdown.
Yes.
It was a critical play. So, but yeah, and I'm proud of Sam for doing the interview. He did a great job for no preparation. I was glad he did it.
Yeah, huge play. That saves 7 points and a huge momentum swing in a game. Anytime you run back a score on special teams in a big game, that's going to be a huge momentum swing. And I think it's, first off, we were very upset with the kickoff coverage on that side to begin with. The ball should never have got to that point, but love how our kids continue to play hard and play through the whistle. And, we have a saying of make them snap it again, make them snap it again. And, you guys saw that from the state game a few years ago. We tackle him on the one, keep him out. That's
right.
Huge momentum swing in that game. And then you never know what's going to happen if you can get them to make them line up again and let our defense get out there. So huge play, but yeah, he can fly. And, I think we need to get the Bulldog step stool back out for Kelly if we interview Sam Way again. That's quite the difference there. But yeah, Sam's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal football player, great kid, loves having a good time. He's always upbeat, and then a phenomenal hurdler in track. He's an all-state track hurdler, and you don't usually get that kind of speed in 6'5", 210 frame.
Right.
So we're really blessed to have him. And again, that's a receiver running down and making tackles. So he's not just a prima donna receiver that likes to catch the ball. He'll go down and hit you. He played some DN and linebacker in the past as well. So really good football player, and another piece of that junior class that we're so excited about.
Yeah, one of you guys mentioned after the play that his legs looked so much longer, and yet he had the turnover, of a sprinter with these great big long legs, which made him look a little bit like a grasshopper. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Watching how quickly those legs were churning, and to make the tackle. Wow, that was something.
And just the effort to stay with it, and
right.
and you talked about the pursuit angle, and that was actually the second. We had one earlier in the game by Ashton Bringus, who also tracked a guy down.
Yes.
Wasn't our play of the week, but Ashton also was some great effort on special teams play, I believe.
Yeah, huge play by Ashton there. Again, that was on the opening drive. Gets it tackled. They still continue to drive a little bit, but then we get it down there, and we made them snap it again, and sure enough, we get a turnover down there, in the red zone. So had Ashton not made that tackle, we start the game down 7-0, and, who knows where the game goes from that point. So it's always huge. Grant Nolan made a living doing that for us over the years. And so everyone's picked up on that, and they understand the importance of it.
Yeah, interesting. You brought that up, and I think we talked about it last week, too, is that when we saw Grant Nolan graduating in 24, we said, gosh, my goodness, what are we going to do to replace that guy? Well, you don't replace individuals, but the team play overall has really, as much as we appreciated Grant, man, they've filled in, and they just look terrific, and it's just so much fun to watch. And you talk about those kinds of plays being momentum changers. You could nearly feel the air come out of the Smithville side when that tackle and a couple of other plays like that were made that were touchdown saving. Well, early in the game, for example. And you keep them out of the end zone, and life changes for them.
Yeah.
So great stuff there. I just want to mention real quickly, because I saw it this morning, Kelly, on Preps KC, the Class 4 team rankings, and those are voted on by a handful of state journalists, and Kearney, Missouri Kearney High School is ranked number 1, and all 9 voters gave them a number 1 vote. And number 2, of course, is our nemesis, Lutheran North. Smithville came in at 7, but nonetheless, that top 10 of Class 4, I think you've mentioned it before, Coach, could be, there's a lot of teams in there that could be at the top 10 of just about any class in Missouri.
Oh, for sure. You know, and on there as well, you got Savannah in there at the 3 or the 4 as well. That's in our district. So in our district, you know, Smithville dropped a few spots this week because obviously they lost, but at the same time they lost to the 1 seed.
Right.
So, you know, prior to last week, we had 3 top 5 teams in Class 4 in our same district. So there's some talented football up around this part, and yes, regardless of class, you know, us, Smithville and Savannah can play with pretty much anybody. So, you know, we're excited about that, and we better be able to play with anybody because these next 3 weeks we go Class 6, Class 6, Class 5, and they're all ranked in their classes. So we've got a gauntlet coming up here for sure.
Yeah, that is unusual. You said have that many teams from your district in the top 10 shows how good the quality of football is, you know, in this area. I didn't want to lose track of it. We were talking about Sam from a wide receiver position. Also, Hudson Best had a big catch at the wide receiver. Mike and I, you know, we go down on the field afterwards. I mean, Hudson's a big kid too. Right. I mean, we're looking at our receivers, our 200 pounds plus, doing such a good job as a blocking as well as receiving. I think Hudson may have had his first touchdown reception or second in the game as well.
Yeah, they're playing lights out right now, and they're playing so hard. We brought Everest Martin back this year. He was with us year 1 on our coaching staff, and then his son was the starting quarterback at Liberty North for 2 years and wanted to go watch his son play, which 100% understood. And shout out to Tillman Martin. He's playing really well right now at the next level. He threw for 400 and some odd yards and so many touchdowns last weekend. So I know Dad's proud of him, and he's playing at a high level. But we've brought Everest back, and he's working with the right receivers, and he has put so much emphasis on their effort and their blocking. And if they're not blocking, he's taking them off and putting another in. And the other thing is we're so deep at the wide receiver position this year because you got Hudson, you got Sam, you got Braylon Burnside, you got Graham Parker, Matt Lindsay's lining up there. We're very comfortable throwing Ian Scheller in there. So there's 6 receivers that at any point can go in the game and give great effort, and we're really utilizing those guys that way. And as Sam said in his interview, when number 11 went out there, that was our game plan: run him off every time, make him run, you know, 20 extra 40-yard sprints throughout the game to try to wear him out a little bit offensively because he's a dang good quarterback, and unfortunately for us, that kid's only a sophomore, so we'll see him for several years here to come. But yeah, just the effort has been, and as we talk all the time about our K of Life, attitude and effort are the pillars of our program. So our kids will always give great effort, and we'll take a lot of pride in that. And I think, Brian, were you going to show Sam's play of the game, which is a great effort play?
Nice transition.
There's a kickoff brought in right at the end zone. That's going to be number 22, Roski. He has running room down the far side. He broke 2 tackles, but nicely brought down from behind.
Goodness, the
and
speed.
Wow, what closing speed by number 89. That's Sam Way.
Sam the Way.
Sam Way caught up to him like he was stuck in a traffic jam.
He's a track guy.
Yes, that showed just that. We didn't know he was that fast. And
he
Roski
saved a clear touchdown.
Roski was gone, folks. I mean, he was out there by himself. And Sam Way with the closing speed that I have not seen.
How about at 6'5", 210 with that closing speed? But out of nowhere, good hustle by Sam.
Sam, if you need highlight material, there it is. Post that one at the top because, buddy, that was amazing. And man, oh man, did we have fun with that call, Kelly. It's like all of us were. It surprised me that we didn't step all over each other because I think all of us were so excited about it we couldn't help ourselves. And a lot of times we're all talking at the same time. You can't understand a word that's said. But,
we were trying not to, but we were too excited.
For as big of a play as that was, we managed to not step on each other. And so I think, that maybe we're getting a little better in the broadcast booth. I don't know, but my gosh, that play. Oh,
it was incredible. And Coach, did you hear Mike initially? You kind of hear him go, "Oh," there's an opening there, and then the excitement. That I just loved that.
Yeah, you guys are supposed to be unbiased on this.
No,
Right.
we're not.
No, we're not.
We wear the Carney gear every week. So yeah.
We have had people ask that before. It's like, no, we were the Carney broadcast team.
Yeah,
right?
like Mitch Holtis with the Chiefs. He's paid by the Chiefs. We just don't get paid by Carney.
Yeah.
But, that's all right. We'll take the love.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a play, and maybe one of the most incredible plays that I think I've seen at the high school level. And with all the athletes on the field, and you watch one guy that just all of a sudden starts moving. I mean, it's like a video game. It's like you can't be that fast. And really, like Jim said, it looks like he was stuck in a traffic jam. And number 11 was I didn't have his name here, Roski.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we knew how fast he was. We knew it. And that thing, it's one of those, that's a play of a lifetime, man. That was awesome. Anyway, terrific job there. And again, thanks Tracy for sponsoring those. We just love the interviews and the play of the game and all of the, Brian Watts, who actually captured it on video. Sometimes we have to scrounge around if you didn't have the camera. No, that was not that one. Well, great job anyway of at least resourcing the footage because, whew,
And the
man.
editing. So Coach may have
great.
helped us out with some video on that one. But
Great edit. Yep.
Coach, who was your Special Forces Player of the Week?
Sam White. made a couple big plays on special teams. Not only that one, but yes.
Oh man,
Sam. I mean, no surprise there that Sam was our Player of the Week on our special teams, and offensively it was Carter Temple again, which obviously Carter played really well, and then defensively you guys have him as your Player of the Week. Aiden Ariano was our Defense Player of the Week. So. Yeah. Shout out to those three, and all three deserving last week for sure.
And Coach, you also said you had a trench player this week. A little bit surprised by that, but not after you said it. I saw pancake blocks. This guy was getting after people this week. Who was your trench player?
Drew Nelson, our tight end. I don't know. I can't remember if he caught a pass or not. But after the game, he didn't care if he caught a pass or not. And as you guys know, we use our tight ends, and we love to run behind our tight ends, and it's a position that is only grown more and more. I know, you have a Zach Grace that plays there. We've got one at Oregon. You got Bryce Page, who played it the year before, who's now at Missouri Western and played as a freshman. So Drew's the next one in line there. And then, as you've seen, Sam Way's been lining up there when we go our double tight stuff. So we've been really blessed to have some really talented tight ends that will also get in there and do the dirty work. And if you've got a blocking tight end who's also a receiving threat, it's for a defense, it's, do I put a safety on him? Do I put a corner on him? I can't put a linebacker on him because he can. And if you do put somebody smaller than him up there, there's going to be a lot of pancakes. And he takes a lot of pride in getting after people on the line of scrimmage. And again, when we said, boys, we're not throwing the ball this drive, he's like, yeah, let's go. Like, he gets all fired up for it. So, shout out to Drew because again, tight end's usually not the guy that gets your trench player of the week, but it was a no-brainer for us this week.
We're going to take another break here real quick, and we're going to come back and talk about Park Hill. But I do want to talk about your secondary this year when we come back. Stay with us. You are watching or listening to the Coach Minnick Show.
Dings, dents, or a full-on fender bender. When life happens to your car, you can trust the team that's been fixing it right for over 40 years. At CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, expert collision repair, precision paint matching, and detailing come standard with customer care that goes the extra mile. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 816-628-5621, or you can stop in for a repair estimate at 104 West Main Street in Kearney. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, where your car gets the care it deserves.
The air you breathe inside your home plays a critical role in your overall health and wellness. Harmful contaminants like asbestos, lead, and mold are hidden hazards that can be lurking in your home or office. Since 2013, the indoor air quality experts at EcoSafe Environmental Services have been detecting and eliminating harmful contaminants, improving indoor air quality, and creating safe, healthy living spaces. You can learn more at 816-598-4111 or at ecosafekc.com. You deserve a healthy home. Stay safe with EcoSafe.
Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. were shut down for hours tonight. It comes after American Airlines says a plane blew out several tires after landing.
Flight 1551 blew one of its tires during takeoff.
4 tires blew out.
A disabled aircraft on the runway can easily shift from a simple inconvenience to an airport operations nightmare. The unfortunate outcome can often lead to a complete airport closure and, in some cases, significant airport financial losses. The solution is easy: Planescape. Planescape was designed as a simple, innovative method of removing disabled aircraft from your runway, quickly, safely, and efficiently. Planescape is manufactured for both civilian and military aircraft. The sturdy design makes quick work of moving everything from corporate jets, turboprops, large, medium, and small piston twins, and almost every single-engine aircraft, including tailwheel and warbirds. Planescape is extremely versatile and easy to use on multiple airport surfaces. Planescape traverses large runway cracks, sand, dirt, and gravel with ease. Potholes, ice, snow, and grass are no challenge to Planescape's mobility. And best of all, in most cases, you can clear a runway in less than 15 minutes with Planescape. Now that's a game changer that'll keep your runway open. Discover more about keeping your airport operations running smoothly. Visit Planescape.com and keep that runway open.
Kelly Gentry from Kearney High School for KMO-TV. Kearney with a big win over their rival, the Smithville Warriors, by a score of 34-14. Joined here by junior linebacker, one of our leaders here on our defense, Aiden Ariano. And Aiden, the first thing I wanted to ask you about, we interviewed you last year after this game. Do you like playing the Smithville Warriors?
I do. It's one of my favorite games to play. I mean, I like to say if you got Kelly or Mike interviewing you, you had a good game. So this is just a compliment to me because I got it last year and I get it again this year. So,
well, you made a big play in this rivalry game last year. Tonight you were flying all over the place. We called your name all night long for making tackles. Don't know how many you ended up with, but you've been one of our leading tacklers on the year. Talk to us a little bit about your leadership and the physicality that you play with on the defensive side of the ball.
The leadership is we go out, as a team, every practice we go out and we're going to be physical. Offense is going to give us what they got and we're going to give them what we got. Because when it comes to game, we got to be as physical as we can. I mean, probably, and also like 6 or 7 months ago, me and Carter made a bet about I have to get 120 tackles or I have to wrestle. So that's just really helping my physicality because I know if I'm not physical enough, I'm not going to get to those tackles. So, I mean, every week I just play as physical as I can and get those tackles.
Well, that'll be interesting to see if we see you on the wrestling mat this year, for sure, to join Carter out there. But one of the things that Coach talked about is your versatility, too. You can guard people in space. You can almost like a combination safety linebacker. That gives him a lot of flexibility. Talk to us about that, how you kind of get moved around on the defense.
I love it. It's like I get a little bit of everything, the best of both worlds. I get to go in the box. I get to hit somebody, mess somebody up, and then I get to go back in coverage and lock up their best receivers. It's probably my favorite position I think I've ever played just because I can do anything.
Well, you're 3-0 on the season. We've got a couple of tough road games. I know you probably haven't looked ahead too far, but what are you expecting? You're going to go on the road here the next couple of weeks to a couple of Class 6 schools. What are you expecting and preparing for that?
We're expecting the grind. They're big schools. We got to come out to play. I think as a team, we think we need to play better than how we did tonight. We obviously did very well, but that's not our best. And you're going to get our best as we go on. So we're at practice. We're going to be even more locked in than we were for Smithville week. We're going to practice what we need to practice. What we let up on big plays again, it's not going to happen again. We're going to practice it over and over until we get it right.
Can't think of a better way to close it out than that. Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School with Aiden Ariano. Kearney wins big 34-14 over the Smithville Warriors.
All right, Aiden Ariano is a quote machine. I just love that guy. I love him on the other side of that mic. Good job on that interview, Kelly. And everything he said, man, at the end, I'm ready to suit up, he sounded like a coach.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
exactly.
Coach.
Yeah, I think he gave one of the best interviews of player we've had in a while. Did a really good job with that. He was, you can tell he listens at practice because there's a lot of regurgitation there coming out, which is awesome. That means they're learning and paying attention. And, he was one that was really close to also being voted a captain as a junior. So he was dang close, and that's hard to do on senior-heavy teams, but he had a ton of votes to be a team captain, and he's a leader regardless whether he has a captain title. But yeah, he's right. We use him everywhere. We line him up everywhere. He's so versatile. And there was a Theo 2.0 moment in there. Yeah, I just run in there and I smash him, and I can do that. And it was very much Theo in that moment right there. But yeah, same mentality, great kid. I know Coach Hill's been coming down to our office and erasing some tackles off of Aiden's total. He needs to get back out on the mat, regardless if he gets that 120 tackles or not. But I know Coach Hill's been taking tackles off and giving them to somebody else. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I think the quote was, I can mess somebody up.
Yeah.
That was priceless. And it's like, you kind of did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk real quickly. I want to talk about your secondary because there's a couple of guys. Brad Dahl, we've talked about. He's doing a great job. And I think there's two other guys that are helping him out quite a bit, but it looks like some of them are still coming along. Just talk about them in general.
Yeah, I'm very proud of how well our secondary is playing. There were a few catches they made in that game that we're all over them. We're not in bad position. They scored a touchdown when we got double coverage. It just one of those that the ball just found the pocket of that kid, and so I don't think it was anything technique or scheme or anything. Sometimes that happens. And at the same time, those guys do a phenomenal job because our philosophy, we're going to stop the run defensively. And going against the Smithville team, they want to establish a run and be physical. So those DBs get left on islands quite a bit. So there's a lot of single coverage out there where, as a corner, it's never good if your name's called unless you make a tackle or a play. Any other time, it's a bad thing as a corner if your name's getting called. So our kids really bought into that, and they do a good job back there. And as you said, Brad's doing a great job for being a first-year corner. Senior Damian Carter has stepped up really well at the other corner spot. We started rotating Holden Phipps in there as well. So we've got some good corner depth. And then Connor Reed's a guy that should have started for about anybody last year. He was just behind two senior safeties, and he's doing a great job. Does a great job getting us lined up in the back end and giving us our coverage calls and all that. And then Ashton Bringus is just the junior. He's one that transitioned from wide receiver and corner to safety, so hasn't been playing safety a lot, has played a little bit of it in the past, and he's getting better and better every week. As you guys said, he had a touchdown-saving tackle. He's getting his hands on pass breakups. He's fitting the run well, so he's doing a really good job, and he's getting better and better every week.
And really playing physical, too. I've seen a lot of these guys in the high on the tackle rank, tackle numbers each week. I saw Connor Reed have some big hits coming up from his safety position. So some physicality that those guys are playing with as well.
Yeah, for sure. They'll tackle you, and we take a lot of pride in that. You don't step on the field as a defensive player at Kearney if you're not going to be physical. We absolutely refuse for that to happen. It's just it's a team mentality when it comes to that, and and that entire defense, including secondary, has their hands absolutely full this week. You're going to see a Park Hill team that is 4 and 5 wide and 70% pass, 30% run. They've got athletes all over the field. So DBs especially have a huge week this week of trying to keep everything in front. You're going to see two completely different styles of football from what we saw at Smithville and what you'll see out of Park Hill. And then kind of the same way between us and Park Hill. We want to run the football and eat the clock. They want to score as many as much as they can. They'll run hurry up, tempo offense. They want to snap the ball and get it to their athletes in space. And they have 2 legitimate Division I receivers that they line up all over the field. So it's hard to determine how to try to double them or bracket them, and you can try to take one away and then the other one. So it'll be a cat and mouse game, and we've got to throw a bunch of different stuff at them. And but at the same time, they're a really good offensive football team. They've had, they beat Columbia Rockbridge week 1, who's a really dang good football team we saw this summer. They had a game with Northtown that was 69-51.
And that was a football game. That wasn't a basketball game, right?
That was a football game. And I was hoping and thought maybe some of their kids' hamstrings would be a little beat up after that game, because all they did was run up, back and forth on the field.
Track meet.
So they can score it in bunches. They have athletes all over the field. They look, that's a school that's got double our enrollment. So they've got twice as many kids to choose from, and they've got athletes all over the field. So it should be a really dang good ball game. They're ranked in the top 10 in Class 6. We got to put our boots on and go to work tomorrow, because they're a dang good football team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And versus last year, I think they're more explosive, far more explosive this year on offense. And you kind of look forward to the challenge. I think it puts Kearney in a position where you really get to test your mettle.
Yeah, for sure. And it's what I like about this game. It's a completely different brand of football than what we've seen up to this point. So it's going to help. Win, lose, draw. This game will help us go into the playoffs, because we're going to see at some point there will be a full-out spread team that likes to throw it all over the field or has a ton of speed, where we can start implementing some game plan things that will carry over to later games. And it'll be a great experience for our new guys that haven't seen a bunch of explosive pass plays, and teams that like to go up top all the time, and teams that would rather pass it than run it at times. So it'd be really good for us. And then on their defensive side of the ball, they've got a big-time Division I defensive end that we've got to know where he lines up at all times, because if you don't, he's going to hurt people in the backfield. So you've got to know where he's at. And then they just fly around. They blitz, they slant, they force you at times to put the ball in the air, because they're going to come get you, and they have a lot of trust and faith in their corners and DBs to be able to man you up, and they like to get up and be physical at the line of scrimmage. So completely different styles of football. So it'll be a good one, because they look like what a big-time Class 6 program should look like, and Coach Sims has it rolling up there. And so it's kind of like we got them last year, but that game was a lot closer than what the score ended up. It was 7-0 with, 6 or 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. So it was it got a little ugly late, but at the same time, they're not built to play the kind of football we wanted to play that day. I don't know that we threw more than 5 or 6 passes in that game last year. So big time game. It's 2 top 10 teams ranked in their classes. I think both of us are ranked in the top 25 in the Metro. So huge football game, 2 really talented football teams.
Yeah, like you said, the ranking, Coach, it is going to be highlighted. A lot of media outlets will be there at Park Hill. Park Hill is ranked 15th in the top 25 in the Metro. Kearney's 6th, and so this game is going to get a lot of media attention. Of course, we'll be there broadcasting it as well, and looking forward to that. You mentioned the 2 wide receivers, Coach. I noticed too, when we look at statistical rankings across from a receiving standpoint, both of those 2 wide receivers that you talk about are in the top 10 in receiving yards. It's the only team that has 2 in the top 10.
Right. Yeah, and their quarterback does a great job of keeping his eyes downfield. He wants to stay in the pocket. He'll extend plays to stay behind the line of scrimmage to give those guys chances to get open. And they're so great run after catch guys. Like the number 10 Braylon Agee for them is about 6'4", stud athlete, all-state hurdler as well. So Sam Way's been giving us a really good look as the scout guy as that. But elite speed, he's committed to Northern Illinois, I believe. So Division I athlete out there. I played with his dad in college. So AJ, if you watch this, take it easy on us tomorrow. Yeah. Braylon can get all the yards he wants after next week or after tomorrow.
Yeah.
He can have all he wants. And then Dante Dixon, I know you guys remember calling his name last year. He is one of the best athletes in the city, and he plays offense and defense. So he's all over the field. You know, he's their punt returner and kick returner, so we'll have to be super careful how special teams wise, you know, you don't want to give that guy any space. And, you know, and it's been funny to break down the opposing team's game plans against them. Like there's times they've got him tripled and doubled and he still finds space. Oh. And the quarterback wants to get him the ball. And I think the other thing that quarterback's great about, you can't just focus on those two. He'll throw it to whoever's open. So you can't be like, we don't really need to worry about this guy. He doesn't get it. All the other receivers get it too. So it's very balanced. Now those two obviously are the standouts, and that's where they want to get with the football. But if you don't give respect to the other receivers, they'll burn you just as bad. I know Coach Brinkley's probably lost a bunch of sleep this week with the chaos of this game. But our answer to that, we're gonna be super physical. I think that's something. With the style of play they run, I don't know that they can really emulate our offense and defense in practice in a 3-day practice week. You know, it's funny, Coach Williams yesterday, NFL running back, got blindsided by 2 of our guys at practice yesterday with the amount of physicality. I didn't know if he was going to get up, but and it was his birthday, so it made it even better.
Oh my gosh!
But that's the level of physicality our kids have in practice. They're going at it and running into coaches and. You know, it's a fist fight in a phone booth at practice for us every day, and that's the way we like it.
Yeah, and taking out NFL coaches.
Yeah,
players.
He said, "Man, I haven't been hit like that since I was in the league." Hat off, glasses off, and he was just laying there. I didn't know if he was going to get up.
We call that a yard sale.
Yeah. And he's a little bigger than he was in the NFL. We haven't had to get a crane out there to get him off the field. I'm just kidding, Coach Williams. I love you.
Oh, man. We love the whole coaching staff. All right, what a terrific game that's coming up, folks. We'll be over there broadcasting the game with Park Hill, and just excited that we're able to get in there and bring you the play-by-play action. Kelly, I believe, will be calling the...
Yeah, Jim's out this week.
Yep,
so.
Jim has been busy. But get over there. It's close. We are just so excited about the challenge and this opportunity, Coach. So we'll see you over there on Friday night at the Bulldogs against the Trojans. Thanks so much for being with us on the Coach Minnick Show. We'll see you next week.